Welcome to the channel. This is Oblivion, and we are going to go over the update notification today. Typically, I don't do these type of videos, but after seeing what this update included, I just really want to talk about one thing in particular. So let's go ahead and jump in, and we have to start off with these remixes. Holy crap. So we have Legendary Eliwood, and if you've heard me talk about him before, like in my ultimate support tier list, I talked about how much potential this unit had to become amazing, and they just completely blew me out the water. Like everything I thought they possibly could give him, they just went like beyond that, like so much. So let's start with this inherited skill he's gonna get. He's gonna get Flow Refresh. Honestly, it's like really whatever. It's not that big of a deal. You're typically not gonna be using Flow Refresh over the other flow skills, like Flow Guard or like even Flow Force, like on Harmonic Roy, right? Those are just typically better. Flow Refresh can be kind of good to heal up the HP, especially if you like a recoil damage, a skill like Theory or like one of the push skills or something. But honestly, it's not that great of fodder. What we really care about though is Vision of Arcadia 2. So Vision of Arcadia is essentially the Eliwood's preference skill, and what it essentially did was just give attack and defense +6 to the unit with the highest attack. And this worked really well with his weapon Ardent Durandal that gave bonus doubler to the units with the highest attack. But Vision of Arcadia 2 takes it to a new level. So there is still the condition you still need a dragon or beast on your team, which is honestly not that difficult to do. There are a ton of good dragon or beast support units, so it's pretty easy to get one of them onto your team, like Asker or Fallen Ninian or Fallen Lilith or Legendary Ninian. There's just so many options, like it's not difficult at all. But what this thing does is going to give attack, speed, and defense +6. That's 3 stats already from just Eliwood. But it's also going to grant no panic, and Canto 1. And not only does it give it to the unit with the highest attack, it also gives it to Eliwood too. So honestly, Eliwood's probably still not going to be like the best combat unit. We haven't seen his refine, and maybe they'll really focus on that to like make him more combative. I hope not. I hope they just go like full into support, to be honest. But either way, this is really nice because a lot of times Eliwood might be like your last unit, like in a Summer Duels match, or like one of your last units, and just having some more power is going to be nice. But like this buff is so stupidly powerful. I can't even explain how good this is. Like in Ether Raids, you can use Eliwood during win season now, and he's just going to make whoever your main carry is like ridiculously powerful. Not only is he going to supply all the buffs, he's going to give no panic, so you have nothing to worry about when it comes to panic manners anymore, which is really nice. It's one of the things that Ashera gives that you actually want a lot, but you don't want to actually run Ashera all the time, so you're kind of like, ugh, I can't get no panic, but now you can. Obviously, the other option is Legendary Azura, but once again, she's locked to water season as well. But then you have Canto 1, and Canto 1 is just an amazingly powerful buff to just hand out. If you haven't had a chance to play with Flame Tana yet, I eventually did pick her up after seeing Joel kind of show her off a bit, and her buff is so good. It just really makes it so easy to like have your whole team be extremely mobile. And having Canto 1 on units who typically don't get Canto, like infantry units or like armored units typically, right? It's really, really good. So like being able to give this to like say a raid boss or your main carry in Ether Raids is really strong. You're going to be able to essentially go in and like Ether Raids, you can go in, kind of like kill something possibly, and then Canto back a space back into your position where all your supports are. So like maybe you're in like Astra season, you go in, you snipe somebody in the front, you Canto back a space, and then you're right in range of like Element and stuff to get that damage reduction. And in Summer Duels, this is just completely broken in my opinion, right? Especially when we go into those seasons where raid bosses are viable, which they aren't always, right? There are sometimes you go in and there's just captain skills you can't use with the raid boss. Like Flash of Steel is like a really good example of that. But when you have like the Might of Myriad seasons, right, like we just had, imagine this on Flame Lyn. Flame Lyn is going to get 3 of the stats she needs but just from Eliwood, right? No panic, which is one of the big ways you can kind of take out a raid boss, is by removing their debuffs or panicking their debuffs, and then they just get really weak and you can take them out, right? But then Canto is the really big thing, because what it's going to let you do is with someone like Flame Lyn or like Legendary Dimitri or like pretty much any raid boss, like even imagine like Fallen Elgard with Canto 1, you're going to be able to go in, kill something, and then you're going to be able to move either backwards to get back into the range you need to be in to have your weapon active, or you could move forward aggressively so that you can get into position to get the next kill. Especially with some units who do not have the best movement, like this is going to help a ton. It's going to just allow you to position yourself in such a way that you can play exactly how you need to, and that is just something you cannot underestimate. So I'm not going to talk about Eliwood anymore, but I am so very, very happy with Vision of Arcadia 2. It's just phenomenal, and we haven't seen his weapon refine, so if his weapon refine Obviously, it will still have the bonus doubler effect, I believe. I'd be very surprised if they took that off. But if they like play into that and maybe give out like 2 bonus doublers, like maybe to like the first and second highest attack units or something, like Eliwood might just be like one of the best supports in the entire game now. He easily is like triple S tier probably already. Okay, let's move on to Yune. And Yune obviously has been, you know, she's one of our first defense mythics, and she's definitely fallen off a long time ago. So what we see here is that she is going to get attack res unity, which is really nice. That's a great skill for her to have. So I'm very happy that they're going to put more of that into the pool, because right now I think it's like Winter Altina and like Halloween Rhea who has it. So even if you don't like want to use Yune, at least she'll have really good fodder. But then we also have her preference skill upgrade, which is Chaos Named Plus. So original Chaos Named was kind of like janky. It was essentially like a ploy effect, right? Where like 3 columns below Yune with her in the center would get hit, and if her resistance was 3 or more or higher, they would have their highest stat debuffed. It was like it was okay back in the day. It wasn't even great back then, but like nowadays it's just completely just trash, right? So now we have Chaos Named Plus, and it's at start of turn. If any foes have the highest attack, speed, defense, or resistance on the enemy team, inflicts -7, so it's already higher than it was before, on that corresponding stat of those foes, and foes within 2 spaces of those foes through their next action. Okay, that's already really, really powerful. So essentially this is like Harmonic Dorothea, right? Harmonic Dorothea has like the Omni chill, where she will hit everybody on the team with a chill, or she'll hit everybody with the highest stats with a chill, right? So we have Yune doing that, but then she's also just spreading it. So everybody who's like going to be all gathered up, they're all going to get debuffed, which is really, really powerful, right? But it's not even done yet. So at start of turn, if any foes have the highest attack, speed, defense, or resistance on the enemy team, they also get panic. So Yune is just like taking a page from a Versus book in some sense, where she's just gonna be like one of the best debuffers in the entire game. She's gonna always be able to hit like 4 debuffs essentially, while also inflicting panic. And it's not an HP based panic or like a resistance based panic or anything like that. It just happens, right? So whoever has those highest stats is gonna get panicked, which is really strong. So I expect Yune to be like a pretty decent support now on Aether Raid's defense. The question is her Refine gonna give her the power she needs so that she can actually kill things? Because if she can't, then her being a support is going to be decent, but it's not going to probably be enough to where you want to use her on your defense team. So what they're going to have to either do is they're going to have to really double down on the support, give her a lot more supportive effects in her weapon, or they're going to make it so that she just does a ton of damage. Like maybe they'll give her like a blizzard effect like Gunthra, where she just gets a ton of true damage based off debuffs, or something like that, right? Or maybe even like more crippling effects so that like those debuffs are even worse. I don't know. But this is a good start. This is a very good start for Yune, and it's an amazing start for Eliwood. That's probably one of the best remix skills we've ever gotten. Okay, so we have the remixes there. We got some more momentum events in Hero's Journey, not the biggest deal there. Then we got our new ephemera manals, and we have Yune here, and I'm going to be honest, I don't think he like honestly gives much. I think he gives like sabotage speed or something like that. Like it's not really, you don't really care to be honest, right? But then you have Ninja Navarre, and Ninja Navarre has the Ninja Lance, which is pretty solid. It's not like amazing nowadays, but it's still good. But he also has Flashing Blade 4 and low speed defense, which is really good fodder because you can sack something like a Summer Yilger for Flashing Blade 3, and then you can get both those skills. So honestly, that's a really big come up. I'm very happy to get that. And then we also like Dance Alarm, so if you were merging her up, you could save some grails. Now the last thing I really want to talk about is the refines, as we do have our new refine batch, and obviously we already talked about Eliwood and Yune, but we also have Fallen Corrin. And if you played while Fallen Corrin came out, you know that she is like a big, she was a big man of threat when she came out. She was essentially one of those units who could just stack a ton of stats, because back in the day, not everybody got +5 to all stats to weapon, right? So I'm very interested to see what they do with Corrin, because essentially all her weapon does right now is give stats, and it's going to do that no matter what. So they honestly have a ton of liberty of how to make Fallen Corrin into a new unit, essentially. I do expect like the solo condition to stay, but I don't know what it will do. Like, is she going to get no follow-up? Is she going to get damage reduction? Is she going to get, you know, whatever, true damage, whatever. So I'm very interested to see how they treat her. It is Corrin, so I expect her to be treated better than Fallen Tiki. I expect her to get a very powerful refine. Then we have Cynthia, which is going to be great. Another GHB Lance. Maybe she'll get some more interesting stuff. If she takes after her mother, Sumia, then maybe she'll get a really cool refine with like Kanto Rings of Mercy as well. That would be awesome to get. And then we also have Halloween Hector, and this is our first duo refine. So this is going to be setting the precedent for us to see just how powerful these refines can really be. So I'm really hoping he gets a very solid refine, because his weapon's not great nowadays. but maybe they will give him something insane. Who knows? Maybe Halloween Hector will be the next Brave Hector. Maybe as Brave Hector is starting to fall off, Halloween Hector will rise to take his place. We'll have to wait and see. After that, we have Petra, and Petra is one of my favorite characters in Three Houses. She's my favorite girl, and I'm gonna be honest, her weapon sucks. Like, it's just terrible. It's a horrible weapon. The only thing really great about it is the beast effectiveness. So I'm gonna be interested to see what they do with her, because she's kind of like Fallen Coordinate 2, where she just kind of has stats on her weapon and like beast effectiveness, and that's it. So they can really like take some unique initiative here to make a really cool, unique weapon for Petra, and hopefully they do, because I would love to actually be able to use Petra in this game. And lastly, we have Python, and of course, you know, I'm sure a lot of people are very happy. A lot of people have merged up Python. Pretty much you either like merge up Python on +10 or Wrath. Personally, I'm a Wrath user myself, so I'll be waiting for Wrath's refine, but I am excited to see what Python gets, and if he can get a really cool refine, so that maybe he can be usable in like Aether Raid's defense or offense. That'd be pretty cool. Other than that, we do have a Summoner Duels update where you just get more favors, so that's going to be more rewards, essentially, not that big of a deal. We also have a Healing Tower upgrade in Aether Raid, so you can get to level 10, which is a lot of healing, so if you want to do that as well. A couple new songs from Fire Emblem Blazing Blade and from Fire Emblem Echoes, so that's awesome. And then, obviously, Mordecai and Holst are getting added to the Grail Shop. Other than that, it's just some small bug fixes and stuff, and really not much else to talk about. But now I'd love to hear from you. Do you think Legendary Eliwood is as broken as I think he is? Do you think he's going to get a really good refine alongside Yune? And speaking of refines, what refines are you most excited for? Are you going to be a big fan of Eliwood or Hector? Or maybe you're waiting for the big Petra refine like I am? Either way, I'd love to hear from you, so make sure to drop a comment down below. If you enjoyed the video, please drop a like and subscribe. Helps the channel grow, keeps the content coming out, and it makes sure that you don't miss any of my videos right when they drop. This has been Oblivion, and I'll catch you all later with more Fire Emblem Heroes.